right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Leadership Blend television show with your amazing host. Yes, I am amazing, Ricardo D. Rice. And today we're continuing the series of talking to younger individuals who are doing stuff in media or things of that magnitude. And today, she's been deemed my little sister. We met about, a year or two ago, when she was doing, I summoned her to do this show called The Praise You. We were both at IBNX Radio Network, and as I knew she would be, she was amazing, and she brought such a light to the studio. So I thought it'd be robbery, especially since she's a newly formed author, to be on this couch with me. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and we're gonna take it from there.
Well, I'm so excited to be here. I'm Marvelous Marissa, and I'm just so excited. God has been just so good to me. Ricardo, this has been one of the best years of my life.
I mean, you living it up. You're doing book signings. You have your TV show.
Yes.
I have wanted to ask you, this is the perfect time to ask you, where does Marvelous come from? Where did you get the Marvelous Marissa thing? How did that come up? Where did you get that from?
Well, don't y'all consider yourself to be marvelous?
You know, I like demigod or spectacular, but I mean that you know how extreme I am, but yes. That's yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
Well, no, when I started Broken Into Beautiful, that's my talk show on WATC, I was starting to get booked for hosting and speaking engagements. And, I think the name Marissa Daniel is nice. But I said, I need something that's, like a stage name, a presence. And I noticed how I'm bubbly, I'm happy, I'm perky. So when I looked in the dictionary, I said, you know what? It's marvelous. And I said, Marvelous Marissa. And I prayed on it. You got to put everything in prayer. I believe in that. And I prayed on it, and God told me to go with that title. And I just noticed how at the Rice Awards, I would interview people. You took me to the Rice Awards.
Absolutely.
And I noticed how Marvelous Marissa was so catchy, because the guests would be like, wait, marvelous? Oh, she must be marvelous. It caught people off guard. So I went with that, and it's been a blessing to me.
I mean, okay, so we've done a couple of things together. So, red carpets and stuff, we jumping all over the place. I was not going to start, but since we're already here, what is the joy you get from red carpets? You seem to really enjoy red carpets.
I do.
Why do you enjoy? Because I do them. I can't say that I love them, but I do them. You seem to love them. What do you love about red carpets?
What I love about it is, one, I can be myself.
On the red carpet? On
the red carpet. I could be my fun, happy-go-lucky self. I love to make the people feel good. You do your research on who you're interviewing. And, when people see that you know about them, it makes them feel good. And I just love how it's, okay, next.
That's the part that annoys me, is that you're constantly having to go and move. Exactly. That's the part that drives me up a wall. Like, you really have to, go. Now, the Rice Awards was good. Shouts out to Shandon and Ra for inviting us to the Rice Awards. Now, the Rice Awards is good, but even with that, I think the year you went, it was a little less hectic than the year before when I went. Okay. Because that year before, it was, everybody and mama was on that carpet, and the caliber of people was different. So it was just like, okay, which I did end up getting red at one of those carpets because I did not do my homework, and I thought I could wing it. And that was the one time I got busted. But I said it on camera, didn't I?
Yes,
no, I didn't mean to say it on camera.
Yes, you did.
But I digress. So what you said is you get to be yourself, and what else? What else makes you enjoy
And I can look amazing. I love wearing my dresses.
Yes, and your
and
heels,
my
and
the wig.
You're such a girly girl.
Flip the wig.
You're such a girly girl.
Yes. And that was actually my first red carpet experience.
What, the Rice Awards?
The Rice Awards.
Really?
Yes, and I had a great time. And Rob was right next to me the whole time. I didn't know that she was actually in charge. So she gave me some really good feedback, so I did an excellent job.
Okay. Yeah, you and Rod are working together.
Yes.
You're welcome. Like I tell everybody else, you're welcome. It's a gift I get you. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so let's get into who Marissa is. So let's start from college. Like, what made you decide that media was what you wanted to do?
Well, I always wanted to do media since I was in kindergarten. I always wanted to be a talk show host.
You seem like one of those little girls that had the doll babies and the microphone up to the dog. How did I guess that?
That was me. However, I was in speech class from kindergarten all the way to the 6th grade.
Really?
My speech teacher at the time told my mother that I didn't know how to talk correctly, and that he did not see me being a public speaker.
Really?
So that left me discouraged at the age of 6. So I would go to speech class. I got bullied about it, got teased about it, but God kept that dream in my heart. And I always knew that I wanted to do media. I left home at the age of 19. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I went to a predominantly white school. Southern people may say Waukesha, Wisconsin, but it's called Waukesha, Wisconsin. I went to school out there for 1 year, and I was the only Black student that got an award for my radio show. It was called the Marissa Show, and I was the only Black student to get an award. After I did my 1 year at that school, I decided that I wanted to attend a historical Black college, and I chose Clark Atlanta. So I was a transfer student.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I went to Clark Atlanta. It was a great experience. I was the only student that had my own talk show on campus, and I interviewed Monica Pearson in front of a live studio audience. Even when I was at Clark Atlanta, I experienced people criticized me by the way that I talk, my speech. I was the news anchor on campus, and I will always get, harassed by that. So I knew that that was the enemy because what my kindergarten instructor said. And, I interned at Channel 2 Action News. I interned at Fox 5 Atlanta. And I also did an internship in Wisconsin at WISN Channel 12 News. And it really broke my heart, Ricardo. And I went through a depression after graduation because, when it was time to get the jobs, the white girls got selected for the jobs, not me. And I was the one that was there about 4 or 5 times a week. They called me at 5 in the morning. Marissa, can you come help out in the studio? And I didn't have a car, nor a driver's license. So I was on that bus.
Wait, you didn't have a driver's license?
I did.
How old are we talking about?
Well, I was a college student. Wisconsin has really good public transportation.
Okay,
so when I came here to Atlanta, I saw that, okay, I need my license, but I didn't let that stop me. I was on that bus. I was on that train, and I fell into a deep depression because I'm like, I didn't get the job. What, God, why did you? What did I do wrong? I interviewed Monica Pearson. I worked my butt off working for Javita Moore, tying her shoes up at events. I know y'all. It was a struggle, but the white girls got chosen. They from UGA. They didn't want to pick no Clark Atlanta student, even though I worked hard. I was always overlooked.
All right. Okay, so you done unpacked a whole lot of stuff that I didn't know you were going to unpack today, but it's very good because this is the kind of stuff that people are up against. So I guess my next question is, there's been a stigma on African-American women who are what we deem called plus size in media. Was that part of the issue as well?
Yes. I was also told that I was too big to be on
They told
television.
You that?
Yes, I was too big, wasn't what they were looking for. One lady in New York told me she did not like the way I talk. She said, ugh, your voice just annoys me. And I'm like, okay, I had to learn some tough skin. I cried about it. I went to bed several nights crying. I actually got a breast reduction my senior year in college. It was a graduation gift from my dad, a breast reduction.
Wow.
He just wanted to help. But so I faced those issues, and still to this day, when I do Broken Into Beautiful, I get phone calls from some of my family members. Marissa, you need to lose weight. You sat next to Monica Pierce, because I had Monica on Broken Into Beautiful, and she looked like she's like a small person, and you got me next to her. I still get those phone calls
today, to
this day about my weight, and I get nervous about it. But I say, what's for me is for me. And my weight does not define me. I'm beautiful, and I'm still gonna eat my tacos and nachos and my margaritas.
I love a good taco. I love a good Nacho Bel Grande. Yeah. Anybody want to buy me a gift? I love a good Nachos Bel Grande.
Yes.
I just want to put that out there. All right. So the breast reduction time span.
Yes.
Did it help in your confidence? Did it help after it was over with?
Absolutely. They took off 7 pounds. Absolutely.
7 pounds?
They took. I was recording. They took off 7 pounds. Yes.
Did it make a difference in when you applied for media jobs after you got the breast reduction, or was it still the whole package?
It was still the whole package. It made a difference in my confidence. It made a difference in me loving myself more and loving what I saw when I looked in the mirror. But as far as trying to get a job, no. It did not. I liked how I looked on the camera when I did my stand up with Channel 2 News. I liked what I saw. But as far as getting a job, no, they still picked the skinny girl.
All right, so let's see where we're at now. So you just graduated from Clark Atlantic.
That was 8 years ago.
Jesus, was that long? What year did you graduate?
12.
Oh, Jesus. I keep forgetting y'all are so young compared to me. I'm so old. And y'all remind me this every time I talk to y'all how old I am. So you just graduated from college. You get the breast reduction. You're still applying for jobs. So where are you at in that moment? So we've done all that. You're depressed. How did you get out of depression?
Well, after graduation, I knew that I did not want to go back to Wisconsin or my second hometown, Indiana. That's where my dad is at. I decided to stay here. At that time, I fell into a depression. I would go to bed crying. One day I was in the closet screaming like, God, why would you bring me all the way to Atlanta? I go through all of this broken moments at Clark Atlanta. I graduated, I can't get a job. You blessed me with these internships. You blessed me with this talk show on Comcast Channel 23. And it's like, now I don't have a job. I'm struggling. I'm hungry. So I had to survive. I had to get a job. And that's when I got into the apartment leasing, property management. And working in property management gave me tough skin because I had women in my face screaming at me.
Yeah, rents and
yes.
I don't see how y'all do that. That's when I can wait tables, but I would never do leasing because there's so many variables you can't control, but the tenants don't understand that. So it's like, okay, well, why I can't pay my rent late.
Right.
So I can only imagine. And I told you that. I commend you for doing that, especially with your personality. I was like, I don't see how you do with your personality and how bubbly. And I always tell Marissa, when she comes around, I feel like unicorns and rainbows show up because this is what you see today is literally how she always is. Now, I have noticed she does have another little side to her that comes every blue moon, but it's not often. I'm like, are you on lithium? Like, you're just always so excited, and it's such a refreshing thing. But I digress. So you were doing leasing.
I was doing leasing, and then one day I attended a church called Beyond the Veil, and I called my pastor crying because I said, Pastor, it hurts my feelings for me to see all of my peers who I went to school with. They're news anchors now. They're reporters. They work for BET. My best friend works on movies as a locations manager. And I said, and I'm in a leasing office. What did I do wrong? He said, Marissa, you didn't do anything wrong. God had to humble you. And he said, I got a great opportunity for you. How would you like to come to Atlanta Live at WATC and you do the prayer room announcements?
All right.
And that's where it all started.
All right. Okay, so screaming in closets, which I want everybody to know resonated with the team that's recording. The screaming in the closet resonated with them. I think they're all a little nuts, except for Marissa. So yeah, I digress. All right, so we're getting out of depression, and you call your pastor.
Yes.
And your pastor says, let's start from there.
He gave me the opportunity to recite the prayer room announcements on WATC on Atlanta Live. And I said, okay, cool. Now he said it's for 30 seconds, but if you be faithful over just a few things, if you be faithful over 30 seconds, you never know where God may take you. He's testing you. So I said, okay. So I ran home, put on one of my fly wigs, fixed my hair. I got in that Norcross traffic and I told God, Lord, I'm serious about this and I'm going to pass this test. I started doing the prayer room announcements, 30-second announcements, just telling people, call in for prayer. We're here for you. Give your life to Christ. I never knew that I was going to do television ministry. Never knew. And I did that for 6 months. And for 6 months, he blessed me with Broken Into Beautiful. And I tell you, Ricardo, you may laugh, but I stepped out on faith. And I called the station manager, Michael Ballon. He was like an angel. And I said, I have this show idea. I've experienced some broken moments. And I said, I want a show called Broken into Beautiful, how God can take you from brokenness and blossom you to being beautiful. I said, I want to interview people who have some broken testimonies, and that, this show can go national. And he said, I agree. Congratulations. Ricardo, I ran outside, and I'm about to get emotional because I remember when that New York news director told me that my voice was annoying. I remember when that kindergarten teacher told me that he didn't see me, being on television. I remember how I was treated at Fox, at WSB. And when I got this opportunity, when he gave me my first yes, I went outside and I shouted because I knew that was God. And at the time I was working, I had so many bills. I'm like, God, how am I going to pay for this show? I have to pay for this show. This is like $500. And I'm like, how am I going to do it? And my spiritual mother, she told me, are you going to trust God? God is not going to give you something that's going to fail. Marissa, he's trusting you. You have to trust God. He's saying, can you trust him? And all of a sudden, I just got sponsorships from Regal Nissan, from my church, from people donating, cash apping me, putting money in my hand, checks in the mail, gift cards. And I just knew that this was of God. And then I saw how I would get phone calls and people emailing me, hey, Marissa, can you come host my event? What's your speaking fee? I'm like, what is a speaking fee?
Yeah, we had that conversation.
Yeah. I started and I saw how Broken into Beautiful led to me getting booked for the Lupus Gala, for Wantisa's event, for this church ministry event, and how people were just blessing me with money. Then I had to step out on faith and lead property management. And I said, you know what, God, I'm going to trust in you. And then I just saw how my gifts made room for me. And God would show me things in my dreams. He ministers to me in my dreams. He showed me things where I see myself in the future. So I'm just so proud of myself that I didn't give up. And God, he just wanted me to believe in myself. Then, the Praising You, the gospel radio show, that led to me working for 104.7 The Fish. When they saw that on my resume, Ricardo, they said, you're hired. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I just want to point out that she turned me down when I initially brought it to her. Yeah, I'm not going to let you get away with that. She turned me down, but I'm going to tell that story really quickly because it's a testimony for both of us. Because I knew when I became operations manager for IBNX, I wanted a gospel show, and I was like, I need a host. And I was like, Marissa, because I think you had already done the nonprofit summit, so I knew you could do it. And I was like, she has the perfect personality to do gospel. She loves it. She's a gospel girl. Like, she would be perfect. So I called her, and I was like, well, I have this idea, XYZ. And then she was like, let me think about it. And she was like, I'm going to have to pass, which I understood. And then I was like, now, God, I know what you told me, and I know what you told me where to put her. So I was like, that's cool. I ain't worried about it. Next day, she's like, I thought about it, and I think I'm going to do it. And I was like, okay, Jesus, all right. So sometimes even as leaders, we have to know that we know when we're given something that we have to go and we have to execute it. Whether, it turns out the way we think it's going to turn out initially, you got to go with it. But she was amazing. Like, she was the first show. I started a gospel station on that network. She was the first show and she blew it out of the water. Shouts out to Mom. Her mom for being there with us every Sunday, which I got used to. I call her Mom. I got used to seeing her, and I just adored having her. But yeah, that was really good times. Good times.
Yes, it was.
Good times. That was last year.
It was last year. Yes.
It was like last year, and then from there you went to do Fish 104, and
yes.
All right, so there you go. All right, so you're taking us on a very long, amazing journey. A lot of the stuff that you guys are hearing today, I've never heard. So that's why I knew she needed to be here, because it's a story and a testament to other women who are trying to get into media as well. Let's fast forward.
Okay.
To the book. Yay. So you recently wrote a book. Kudos to you. I watch you because I have to, because that's what I do. As a big brother, I have to watch my other siblings. So I've watched you. Tell me, how did you decide to write a book?
Yes. Well, I actually wrote the book in 2014.
Seriously?
Yes. But then I put it in my nightstand. So I put it in my nightstand. Nothing. I wasn't thinking about. That's where they go
to die. Yeah. You put these in that. That's where they go to die.
Yeah, and it died for a little bit. It died for a little bit, but it came back to life. I remember I went to church on New Year's, and the pastor gave me a word. He said, there's a book in you, and God said it's time to go ahead and publish it. And I said, okay. And I said, well, God, I don't have the money. I don't, you have to pay to get this stuff published. Yeah. And I said, I don't have it, but I pulled it back out of my nightstand. I'm like, you know what? I can go ahead and publish it. And then that's when COVID hit. And the Reverend said, what are y'all doing during quarantine? Are you just sitting at home eating? This is the time to be productive. So when I pulled it back out, I said, Marissa, I can go ahead and publish it. I said, but God, I don't have the money. So I said, God, if this is in your will for me to publish my story, I know that I'm going to receive some backlash from this. But God, if this is in your will, Lord, you got to pay for it. Ricardo, I kid you not. I went to sleep. Something woke me up out of my sleep at 2 a.m. And I'm not even being dramatic. I heard a voice that said, check your account. I checked my Bank of America account, and it was thousands of dollars in my account. Money that was released, that was on hold last year. And I said, oh my God. And I woke up screaming, and I kept like, wait, let me get the sleep out of my eye. Is this real? Like, you waking up to thousands of dollars in your account. And I said, oh my God. And I ran to my mom, and she said, Marissa, publish your book. That's why you got this money. So after handling all of my business affairs, I still had a lot of money left. And I said, you know what? It's quarantine. I'm in the house. Let me go ahead and start typing. And as I was typing, the title of the book is called From Brokenness to Marvelous. It was healing for me because I talked about some things that took place in my childhood. Some traumatic, broken moments I faced in college, outside of college, in relationships. And I saw how it was healing because I was crying and everything was just coming out. It was healing. Writing this book has been deliverance for me, and it has inspired a lot of women. And this has been the most smooth process I've ever had. Like, I had my publisher, I had my graphic designer, I had my editor. Everything was just smooth. So I knew, and if anything is smooth, it is of God. You won't face no hidden things going on. It was smooth. And I said, I want this book to be published. I want the copy in my hand, my birthday weekend, which was Memorial Day. And it was in my hand, and we were able to publish it June 17th. And it's in several bookstores here in Georgia. It's in CAU's bookstore. That's a school that I graduated from. And I faced some broken moments at CAU. So for this book to be in CAU's bookstore, it's going to help out another Marissa. It's going to help out another high school. My book is now my high school in Wisconsin. There's a broken girl at Rufus King High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that's broken. Somebody just took advantage of her. Somebody just molested her. Somebody just disrespected and assaulted her. Now my story can help her. It's in several bookstores in Wisconsin, my hometown, East Chicago Public Library. Here in Georgia, it's on Amazon. It's selling like crazy, and God just has been just so good. The abundance just hit me, and I'm just so happy.
All right, how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, feel free to visit my website at brokenintobeautiful.live. You can find me on IG, Instagram, Broken Into Beautiful Live, Marvelous Marissa on the go. I'm on Facebook, Marvelous Marissa. So yeah, I'm out there.
What a book. How did they get the book?
On Amazon, Nubian Bookstore, All Things Inspiration Bookstore in Mableton, Georgia. I'm in CAU Bookstore. I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Springfield, Wisconsin, as well as in Appleton, Wisconsin. And I'm also in East Chicago.
I knew it when I met her. And I told her this when I brought her to the radio show. You're supposed to be who you're becoming. So I'm so proud.
Thank
now,
you.
I feel like I have a little part in it.
Yes,
so I feel some kind of joy. That's what we want. All right. Any thoughts you want to leave with the audience?
I just encourage all of my sisters out there, people who want to pursue media, regardless of what people have said about you, Know who you are. If God puts something in your heart for you to do, you do it. My kindergarten teacher told my mom that I was not going to be sitting on the leadership blend, that I was not going to host Atlanta Live, that I wasn't going to have my own television show, that I wasn't even going to go to college. But what did God say? I want to encourage you. Know who you are. Do not give up on your dreams, regardless of the doors that were closed in your face. Fox 5 told me no. WSB told me no. But guess what? WATC told me yes. And most importantly, God said yes. So if God says yes, that's all the yeses that you need. So continue to, go forth. Do what God has called for you to do. And remember, I leave you with this. You were once broken, but now you're beautiful. Now go live your marvelous life. And to God be the glory.
I don't have anything else to say because I don't think there's anything to say. So I'm done. And clearly, again, thank you for being here with your big bro and sharing your story. That story was actually amazing. Like, I'm inspired and I'm older. I'm old. But thank you for being here. And again, Marvelous Marissa. And you have been on the Leadership Blend television show with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. See you next time, same place on the Leadership Blend.